pitch, Sydney Olympic and the University of New South Wales. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're able, please be upstanding for a moment's silence for Anzac Day. I'll leave you in the hands of the referee. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Let's win again. Look forward to a great game. Come on, Olympic.
Hello and welcome to this Anzac Day NPL clash between Sydney Olympic and UNSW. Anzac Day, a day of remembrance, a day of gratitude as well, where we remember our servicemen and women that paid the ultimate sacrifice so that we can live in the best country in the world. Nice tribute pre-game from both teams and the fans here at Belmore, who are witnessing something that honestly defies belief. Sydney Olympic in the midst of an 8-game losing streak. And coming into this season, if I had told you when UNSW play Sydney Olympic, one team will be last and one team will be 11th, you would have been forgiven for thinking that Sydney Olympic would be the team in 11th place and the newly promoted UNSW would be rock bottom. But that is not the case. An alarming slide. 8 straight defeats sees the great Sydney Olympic. It doesn't matter whether they were Pan-Hellenic Soccer Club, the Olympic Sharks, or Sydney Olympic. They have been a foundation, not just of New South Wales, but Australian football. The former 2-time winners of the NSL, 3-time winners here in New South Wales, find themselves in a precarious position. A skid that's seen them change managers and come into this game rock bottom. Alarm bells well and truly ringing here at Belmore, but a chance to begin the fight back, begin their claw up the table against a red-hot UNSW Football Club, enjoying a fine inaugural season in the top flight in New South Wales. It will be Olympic in all blue to get us underway, going from right to left on your screen on this Anzac Day Saturday twilight game here at Belmore. One team trending down, the other team trending up. Will that change this afternoon? Sydney Olympic looking to kickstart this season and avoid the prospect, the unimaginable prospect of relegation. Surely that cannot happen. There's still plenty of football still to be played. Still 4 months to go, and it's Olympic on the back foot early as that one's hit. Overhit, I should say, and both teams settle into their shape. There are changes for both teams. I'll run through the lineups. Firstly, for the away team, UNSW in goals. Number 1, Tristan Prendergast. Number 4, Liam Wood. Number 5, Grant Lynch. Into the starting lineup today is Taji Kumsus in number 8. Nathan Roberts is in 10. Sean Woods leads the line and pressing there and almost forcing an error in number 13. Lockie Campbell returns from suspension in number 14. Fresh of his winner last week against Western Sydney is Jayden Harb in 17. Connor Quilligan starts again in 18. Alex Malfar in 21. And the youngster Gil Duffy rounds out the 11. Interestingly for UNSW, top goal scorer Ollie Pufflet drops to the bench. Also sees the return of Anthony Barbich to the bench as well. Some well-needed, I should say, reinforcements, particularly defensively, although Barbich can play in midfield. He did deputise at right back. And for Sydney Olympic manager Michael Mileto, he goes with Josip Olovic once again in goals. Peter Politis in 2, Joshua Hogg in 4. Mr. Olympic Ziggy Gordon is in 5. Marko Arambasic is in 9. Liam Saba is in jersey number 13. A start for youngster Brooklyn Malia. There he is getting tangled up there and battling well. And keeping it in, it looked like, although the referee and linesman were on the spot there. 24 is Ben Gierson. 31 is the electrifying Yuto Fujita. Marcus Fernandez is in 35 and Peter Grozos is in, I beg your pardon, sorry, Marcus Fernandez is in 34 and Peter Grozos is in number 35. Commentated a game here about a month ago and it was Sydney Olympic against Western Sydney Wanderers, and I remember we were all thinking, as it's a foul there, Sean Woods leads the line today, stands out in that cast. I remember thinking with Olympic, the season was going to start then, and they were convincingly beaten in that game, and that loss saw them drop to last. And since then, it's been a lot of late heartbreak, particularly here. Conceded late against Manly, very late against the Sutherland Sharks. Change managers, Michael Mileto comes in. And what a baptism of fire he gets, drawing the reigning champions at Lambert. And Sydney Olympic definitely had their moments last Sunday, but ultimately going down 4-1. And not surprisingly, one of the rare bright spots for them this season was the man who scored the consolation. The young man, Yorios Lucas, who was on the bench tonight. Is it afternoon or is it night? It gets tricky now. Daylight savings is over. Sun is setting. Twilight game, I think I called it. Pre-game is Kumsus back. UNSW, they have been bitten well and truly by the injury bug. Credit to Gabe Knowles and this team for just riding that wave, because it looks like there's a bit of light at the end of the tunnel now. Kumsus missed a large chunk of the season, injured after round 1, and been coming off the bench. He starts today, and here come NSW now, looking for a cross, and they get the throw. Speaking of injuries, losing Sean Woods, such a key player for this team. I spoke to their captain, who's also injured, Claudio Fabiano, who's not too far away, I've been told. He told me makes such a difference having Woods back in the lineup, and he leads the line today. He's been played out wide, scored a goal in his return against Spirit. And here is Gil Duffy. I've been very impressed with him deputising former under-18s player for Apia, trusting a youngster at the heart of that back line. He's played in the middle of a back three. Cross in, looking for Woods, who then collects Ziggy Gordon. Looks like Duffy's settling in on the right-hand side. And NSW have played with a 3 at the back for a majority of the season, but you just see, you can pick it up on your camera there, maybe As we just pan out a little bit, you'll be able to see it. It's settling into a 4, it looks like, with Duffy on the right and Lockie Campbell, who's very versatile, can play as a centre-back, as NPL fans will know from his time at Blacktown. Also can slot in at 6. Duffy, nice throw to pick out Quilligan. Good to see him back playing regular football. Was the League One Player of the Year a few years ago with St. George FC. Had a tough run with injuries, but such a key player for them to have. Not only very technically gifted, but also a big body as well. Here's Duffy. And Grant Lynch playing the opposite end as a left back, it looks like, tonight for his crunch game. Nice feet there by Roberts. Has a knack of scoring big goals, so if he gets on the score sheet today, that could be an omen. Because when he does, UNSW very rarely lose. Mid-season signing from St. George City, a key signing at that, and they go in his direction, and the cross was just overhit. But it gets the thumbs up, and UNSW will be happy with this start. Wild skid when you think not just of the size of this club, big passionate fan base as well, all the great players that have played here. But also their start to the season off the back of a frustrating, has to be the key word to describe Sydney Olympics Australian Championship campaign, because ultimately they go out in the group stage, but they had their moments in almost every game. And it was a loss here against Broadmeadow, which really killed them as Gordon cuts that one off. But they had the eventual champions beat here in the group stage. A game they led 1-0 and somehow managed to come out of that game with nothing. Scored the opening goal of the Australian Championship against South Melbourne as well. And big, long overdue clean out. I won't get into the politics of it. I'll let you guys just Google search it and you can shape your own opinion on that. Lots of turnover, only a handful of players remaining. And here's one of them, Hong, battling with and fouled by Harb. There's been a mass turnover of players, but I don't think anyone expected in the Olympic to be in this position. 4 points after 11 games, and wild when you consider they opened the season with a defeat to Blacktown and then put 5 past the SD Raiders. A game slightly skewed by a red card to the newly promoted Raiders, who of course UNSW pipped out for the League One Championship last season. But then they led here 2-0 against St. George City, and City clawed it back to draw 2-2, and since then 8 defeats in a row. Sees them rock bottom. Well won there by Politis. Campbell. And just to find Roberts. Roberts darts inside and looks for Woods. It's a return to Belmore for former Olympic player Ollie Pufflet, UNSW's top goal scorer, starting from the bench for today's game. Was part of that 2022 premiership winning team that ultimately did not win the championship, losing in the preliminary final to Blacktown. So they go long looking for Roberts, and Gordon does well to shield that for his goalkeeper. And that Blacktown team was captained by UNSW's left-back Grant Lynch. Lockie Campbell was a part of that team as well. In fact, Blacktown won that preliminary final on penalties. The game ended 1-1. Grant Lynch scored that day. And the Olympic goal scored, of course, by Roy O'Donovan. Fernandez maybe thought he was fouled, but the referee plays it on, and Harb, if he was fouled, it was either on the edge of the box or maybe just inside, but the referee waves both away and points to the goal kick. 4 years is a long time in football. It's how long ago it was when Sydney Olympic won the premiership. Even crazier to think that the team that won the championship is in second last. So premiers and champions of 4 years ago in the relegation zone. Here's Adam Basic. Fernandez was looking for Grozos, and Olympic are going to get a foul. Marcus Fernandez fouled. UNSW not happy. It's Kumsus getting very animated with the referee, but an early chance here for Olympic, who, without Orlovic's goal being tested yet, have to absorb a bit of early pressure. "12 minutes gone. Fernandez. This might just be outside of shooting range. It is. It's dipped into the back post instead. Needed a fully stretched header there of Lockie Campbell. Huge boost to that UNSW backline, having him return from suspension. Still no Claudio Fabiano. Picked up an injury early in that game against Apia. Same game that Campbell picked up 2 yellow cards. What a point that was for UNSW as that shot sprayed over the bar. Uni get it back underway, going short. Campbell. Is it out wide to Duffy? He goes long looking for Woods, but that one's overhit. So NSW and their manager Gabe Knowles, who became the first man to coach a team at every level of the New South Wales NPL football pyramid, the same team. So he took this team from the old State League or NPL 4 all the way to the top tier. First man ever to do that. Had to wait till round 7 for their first win. But since then, just the one defeat, and that was a 2-1 loss to Spirit, a run that's included 3 wins and a draw to the reigning champions, Apia. They're turning the Village Green into a bit of a fortress, but just the solitary 3 points picked up away from home, and that was their first win of the season against Sydney FC. Malfara battles there and tries to win a corner, but out for a goal kick. Mentioned that 4 years is a long time in football, a World Cup cycle. That's when Sydney Olympic were premiers. Of course, World Cup's been a hot topic with a former Olympic player, Ali Ogla, Golden Boot winner with Sydney Olympic, in talks for an Iraq call-up, in red-hot form, having, in the space of 12 months, gone from playing for Rockdale in this competition to starring for Sydney Olympic in the Australian Championship, to lighting up the A-League with the Central Coast Mariners, and knocking on the door of a call-up for Graham Arnold's Iraq. What a story that would be. Great New South Wales NPL success story. Chance, bit of space here out wide. Here's Grozos. This player's making runs left and right. Gets the ball back. Still Grozos running out of room. And then picked up by Malfara. UNSW closed that down well. Duffy. Michael Mileto, second game in charge. Knows this club well. Was former under-20s coach. Tell you what, Sean Woods has been in the trenches early, getting stuck into the physical battle and giving it and receiving some as well. He thought he was pushed. Heavy touch from Fujita. It was the right idea. Just bounced up perfectly for Prendergast. And you can already see Mileto's fingerprints all over this lineup. Getting a chance to some youth. Brooklyn Malia getting the start today. Liam Saba. Another one starting. He played in the under-20s. Left for a couple seasons and now has returned to Belmore. Well, cut off by Gierson. He wanted to take the throw, but linesman pointed the other way, and then Gil Duffy tried to add a little bit of GST to the throw. You're just joining us now. Happy Anzac Day. Goalless at Belmore. Maybe you're doing a bit of multitasking, watching at a pub. I hope your two-up form's better than mine. Kumsus is it out wide. Duffy intercepted, but then the touch was a little bit heavy from Fernandez. Almost pounced on. Gordon. Nice pass to find Fernandez. Well closed down by Duffy, but a fortuitous ricochet out here for Fujita, who threads it through looking for Fernandez, and Wood does well to shield that for his goalkeeper. Mentioned that the Olympics manager got the baptism of fire first game. Apia. What about the baptism of fire that UNSW got first game, Sydney Olympic, Sydney United, I beg your pardon, at Adenza Park. Game where they led twice, ultimately went down 5-2. They were punished. Last 20 minutes, spree from United. That set them on their way for their blistering start to the season. Well cut off there by Wood, and he had to be because Adam Basic was breathing down his neck. That's an awkward one for Gordon to deal with, and it bounces off his head and off the corner post as well for a throw. Woods. Shouts of handball from the UNSW bench. Waved away. And Basic going shoulder to shoulder there with Campbell, and Campbell was caught a little bit further forward. That had to be cut off. Otherwise, Olympics' big striker would have been in. Crazy season Marko Adam Basic had last year. Started it playing for Spirit. Ended up playing for Sydney United, featuring in the Australian Championship as well. Of course, Spirit, no one could have predicted the run they went on all the way to the Premiership. And also the knockout stages of the Australian Championship. What a 2025 was for them. And you speak to players that were a part of that Olympic Australian Championship team, a lot of them said, should have been us. We should have made it out of the group. And that's pretty much been the story for them in the New South Wales NPL since winning the Premiership. Lovely feat by Fujita to skip past a couple UNSW players. He's looking up for a teammate and finds Grozos. And Basic is at the back post and almost curled into the top corner. It took a touch along the way, so it would have been an Olympic corner. And that gets a couple shouts of Olympic from the crowd. Was better football there. Lovely work from Fujita. His team sits rock bottom, but he's been one of the bright lights for this great club who have fallen on hard times. Can they get the opening goal? Not dealt with. Fizzing around out, and Basic's shot is blocked on the line. And now a chance for UNSW to break. And they look up and see no one in yellow and black, so just happy to concede possession and get that one out of there. But Olympics' best spell of the game. First the shot which led to the corner, and then some desperate defending denied Marko Arambasic's fourth goal of the season. Right about the halfway stage of the first half. That was 60-minute spree of chaos, the closest we've come to seeing a goal in this standalone Anzac Day game. Marconi and Manly to follow. 5 games for you to sink your teeth into tomorrow, all live and free on the Football New South Wales YouTube channel. A whistle has stopped play here, so we're going all the way back to Ziggy Gordon, who's going to take it. But Olympic look like they've just turned it up a notch now. NSW made a decent start. Didn't test Josip Orlovic, the Sydney Olympics goalkeeper's goal. And Olympic now growing into this game. Repeat, in case you've been living under a rock and you're an NPL fan, you don't know, but Olympic rock bottom on 4 points. 8 straight defeats as Pendergast sprays that one. And just feel the momentum turning in Olympics' favour. Here's Gierson to take the throw. There's a couple of chances. Just put some confidence into this team that is definitely short of it. They've been on the receiving end of heavy defeats, heartbreaking defeats, and everything in between in this 8-game skid. Inconsistency was the theme for them last season. When they were hot, they were fantastic. Think back to game against the eventual Premier's Spirit. They absolutely blitzed them. They did the same thing to Sydney United and Marconi. But then costly performances, dropping points against teams that they're expected to beat. One that just stands out was a loss here to Mount Druitt, now Western Sydney Rangers, who ended up getting relegated. And that was when they were in the middle of a finals push. That ultimately was one of the things that cost them. All looking for Harb, cut off, bit of head tennis going on now. Ball does eventually fall. Here's Malia. He looks promising every time he's on the ball. Hong. Is it out wide to Grozos, but the experienced Lynch is there to intercept. And then he goes long looking for Woods. Haven't seen too much of Woods or Harb. They might come into the game now. Roberts did well. It almost landed there for Malfara. Jeter's been lively every time he's touched the ball. Ito Fujita shares Olympics' top goal scoring with 2 others. They've got 3 players on 3 goals. One of them is the number 9, Arambasic. The other one is the Japanese winger, and the third, exciting youngster, Yorios Luka. Scored off the bench last week. Gives them reason for optimism. Not only a youngster, Greek as well, Yorios Luka. It just sounds like a Sydney Olympic player. Definitely one for the future. They've got a few for the future, but they need to steady the ship in the present. We've seen big clubs go down in New South Wales, Bonnyrigg, Parramatta, just to name a few. Still plenty of time for Olympic to save themselves. Politis was a part of that 2022 Premiership winning team. This team, this situation, the complete opposite to 4 years ago. Here's Politis. Out wide to Gordon. Giason. Fujita battling with Duffy. That's been a good battle in this first half. Both players have had their moments. Fujita looking dangerous as always, but Duffy has been up for it. Here's Campbell, he's always up for it. Wood. Lynch. I have to say, I love what UNSW did after getting promoted. They didn't just make 12 to 15 new signings and bring in a whole new team. They just made smart signings in key positions and retained a large bulk of that core that got them promoted. And that continuity has seen them make a great start to their maiden campaign. Here they come. Haven't tested Olympic yet. Harb, a couple step overs and a nice ball. Speak about smart signings. Hayden Harb made the jump up from League 2. He was the player of the year for South Coast Flame. And he does not look out of place in the NPL, and I dare say, even higher. Futsal Roo as well. I was told, missed their game against Apia a fortnight ago. He was on Futsal Roo duty. Got player of the tournament as well, so extremely talented. Here come Olympic. Woods holds it up and then plays the pass delicately, cross back across goal, and they were looking for Malfara, and Olympic just send it away to safety. So NSW, after Olympic's best spell of the game, is trying to wrestle back control. It is goalless here at Belmore. Malfara. He must feel like a new signing for Gabe Knowles. Was injured last year in pre-season. Really brutal, nasty knee injury. Made him miss all of 2025. Returned this year and has not missed a beat. At the heart of that midfield for Gabe Knowles. They go long. Bit of space out on this left-hand side, but the flag is up. Closest we've come to seeing a goal has to be that scramble after a corner, and Adam Basic's shot, which was blocked off the line. Wasn't a clear block on the line like maybe you're picturing. It was more just like a sea of bodies, and UNSW just getting in front of the shot, which was goal bound. Here's Giason trying to get around Duffy. Kumsus was there to help out. So was Grozos, and Giason and Campbell. Campbell does brilliantly and plays it out wide. He's continued his run here. Options left and right. They go to Woods. Cuts back inside, looking for some angle. On the right foot, finds it, but then Campbell, who had made the great run all the way from centre-back, was just flat-footed. And watch that go over his head and out for a goal kick. Hong. Sliding. Winning it legally. I'll tell you what, the contact was so clean, the ball nearly went 50 metres. Has the referee called it back for a foul? I think he may have. A confusion here when we get started. It must have been called back for the foul. I tell you what, looked clean to me, so clean that the ball almost popped. It went absolutely flying. Not going to argue with the referee, though. He was perfectly paced, and it's a thankless job being a referee. A bit like parenting. It's football's equivalent. Game wouldn't tick without them. This game's ticking along nicely. And to use a cooking analogy, it's in the slow roaster at the moment. I feel like we're almost ready for our first goal. Basic was pressing well, but NSW do well to evade it and find space out to the left where Lynch has continued his run and floats in a decent ball as well, but no one in yellow and black to meet it. Giason sends it away. Kumsus. Duffy out wide and goes in that direction. Here's Duffy. Tangling up with Fujita. Got a nice hold of his jersey there that was missed. Here's Harb. Skipping past one. Finds some room for the cross and just over Woods' head. Still there though for Roberts. Kozlos battling there and Roberts still pressing and does well to keep Olympic locked deep in their own half. Come UNSW again. Point here, or a result here would just be their second away from home. They're unbeaten at home. They're turning the Village Green into a fortress. Some big wins and huge points against championship contenders Marconi and Apia, but just a solitary win away from the Village Green. Okay, Knowles would love to go on a run and just put relegation well out of reach. NSW have definitely showed in 2026 that they belong in the top tier. Currently goalless here. Lynch times that tackle to perfection and picks out Harb. Touch was a little bit heavy. It was fizzed in by Lynch. Malfara thought he was fouled. Referee waves it on. Duffy wanted to get play restarted straight away, but referee just having a chat to Marko Arambasic and Lockie Campbell. This game getting a little bit testy. You can sense its importance, particularly for that team in blue. Because SD Raiders have started winning games, NSW are winning games, so they don't want to be left dead last. Well-timed tackle there. And a nice turn. They look forward, but Lynch is there to cut it off. It's been a good spell of pressure here for UNSW. Will it translate into the opening goal? Kumsus. The space out wide here for Roberts to pick out a teammate with the cross. It's Giason. Bounces off his leg and out for a corner. NSW got back into the game last week from a corner. Kev Lopez was on the end of it. Can they get the opener from one here at Belmore? It's hard to take the corner. He's been the scorer of spectacular goals this season. Can he be the provider of the opener here at Belmore? It's hard to take it. It's low and picks out a teammate. It's Lockie Campbell, who had space at the near post. Would have been tough to angle that goalwards. That would have been needed to be out of the Didier Drogba handbook there. Generated some power, but looped it over the crossbar. In a good spell here by UNSW after Olympic were getting on top. They've responded well. Go long. It's Campbell, whose head must be sore because it's another header. This time he brings his goalkeeper into the game. Duffy playing on the right side of that back line today. Emilio Vinci is returning from an injury as well. He's on the bench. Lovely feet here from Malio. Shot was tame. And straight into the hands of Prendergast, who shows off his arm to pick out Malfara. And then finds a bit of space. Hits the head of Giason and falls to Harb, and Giason has to concede the corner. Footwork all round there. Malia before the shot, and then Malfara as well. Here's another UNSW corner. They're knocking on the door. Harb to take it once again. Similar position to the first one. It might still fall here. And a clearance nearly ricocheted off Woods and into the back of the net. And thankfully, the Sydney Olympic, it went wide and out for a goal kick almost. A horror moment for Olympic, which would have just summed up their season so far. Remains goalless. Don't be fooled by the scoreline. It's been an entertaining first half. It's really kicking into life now. Malia's been good. Plays it out wide to Grozos. Saba making the overlapping run, but cuts inside and goes for the cross instead. The time for Woods there to just compose himself, and picked out a blue jersey, but it landed to Malfara, who then cleans up Fernandez. Play on. Fujita dancing and trying to get around Duffy. Manages to find the cross. Arambasic does well. It's still with Marko Arambasic. Finds a teammate. They play it all the way back to Hong. Arambasic did really well to get in front of the defender and get to the ball, but then he just ran out of real estate. Harb only has Woods to aim for, and there were 5 Olympic players there. About 6 minutes to go here. I don't have a scoreboard to go off. Renovations taking place, as you can see on your screen. Lovely feet by Fujita. This is what he can do, but well closed down by Campbell. That's what he can do. Nice football all round. First by Fujita, and Campbell had to be perfect there in the box. Did enough to just put his body in front of the Japanese winger, shield the ball out for a goal kick. Quilligan to Lynch. Now, Harb's a futsal roo, so is Grant Lynch. You know what that means? They'd be very comfortable with the ball at their feet. Such an asset for so many years. Grant Lynch can play as a centre-back or on the left-hand side like he is today, but the ball is given away, and it's Marko Arambasic. Good low save. It's still here with Fujita, and Sydney Olympic get the opening goal in what feels like a must-win game. Staring down the barrel of 9 straight defeats. They want to end that streak today, and they get the opening goal here at Belmore. And it's their electrifying Japanese winger who gets his 4th goal of the season and now moves clear as Sydney Olympics' top goal scorer.
Scored by number 31, Yuta Fujita. The score is now Sydney Olympic 1, University of New South Wales 0.
UNSW will be kicking themselves, making the error, playing out from the back, which saw Arambasic draw a good low save, and then the bounce of the ricochet just beating the UNSW defence. Fell perfectly to Fujita, who showed great composure to bring it down. It was Lockie Campbell. It just ricochet and looped past him, and Fujita was there to steal it, stayed composed, got the opening goal. And will this be the start of the turnaround for Sydney Olympic? You look up the Coach Killer handbook, you'd see that goal, but also to concede it before half-time in a game where UNSW have looked pretty comfortable, without creating too many clear-cut chances. They might create one here, though. Woods. Good tackle by Politis. Naturally, after a goal, you see defenders just gives them an extra spring in their step. They are launching into tackles. It was perfectly timed. Here's Duffy. Uni, when we do see changes in the second half, have game changers on their bench. Malfara. High cross over here. Balls to Roberts, who's fouled. That's a soft one to give away, but it invites UNSW. Let's see. The Olympic bench, not happy. Careless foul to give away. On the edge of the box. A chance for UNSW to hit straight back. To Fajita's fourth goal of the season. Moves him clear as Olympics' top goal scorer in 2026. He's been one of the rare bright lights, but they have a chance to end their 8-game losing run. 9-game winless run if you include that round 3 draw. Just for UNSW to hit back. It's low, and it almost fizzed all the way in. It looked like it may have taken a touch, but it must have been a yellow and black one. Two months, 8 games of losing. Can't imagine what that would do to the psychology of a team, but Olympic in this opening 45 have responded well. And that place is mispassed though, and misplaced I should say, and here come UNSW. Strong tackle by Politis, who's been very good in this opening 45 minutes. Has done a good job containing the very dangerous Sean Woods, who did well to get his head on the ball. Here come UNSW. Knocking on the door right before half-time. Malfara has a pop. That would have been sensational. All of which was at full stretch. And I tell you what, if that was 15 centimetres further in, I don't think there was anything he could have done about that. That would have been an absolute screamer. No surprises that Josip Bolovic, whose heart would have skipped a few beats, is happy to just take his time and let the first half seconds tick away. Michael Mileto will be keen to get his team into the sheds, 1-0 up. UNSW, though, have responded well after going behind. They'll feel like they were the architects of their own downfall for that opening goal. Sloppy in possession and then not dealing with the second ball after a sharp save by Tristan Prendergast. There's a bit of luck or misfortune, I should say, as Kumsus gets tangled up there. He's left Gierson on the floor, and Hong does not like it at all, and it's kicking off here at Belmore. Both teams running in, and when the chaos ends, I have a feeling we could be seeing a card party here. As in the Olympic fans, they're calling for blood. They want cards. Gierson stayed on the floor here. It was Kumsus and Ben Gierson. It was a swinging arm by Tachi Kumsus. This is a huge moment. Did Kumsus have a swing with his trailing arm at Gierson? Referee and his linesman having a long chat. This is a huge moment in the game. And the colour is red. Taji Kumsho's sent off for a swinging arm at Ben Gierson. Huge moment right before halftime here. And UNSW now have a mountain to climb because they're going to have to navigate the rest of this first half and the entirety of the second with 10 men. Taji Kumsho's sent off for a swinging arm on Ben Gierson. And I've used this term a couple times, coach killer. That goal was the epitome of it. But that red is the literal definition. UNSW now with their work cut out for them. And there's going to be a card in the direction. I have a feeling that's for Gabe Knowles. So, UNSW, this is going to be one of the rarest things I've ever seen, especially if they score from it. They've just gone a man down, but here they are taking the free kick. If they score, I'm going to say I've seen it all. And it's in the first half, full of action and drama. Will UNSW add another chapter of it? Just been reduced to 10 men, but here they are taking a free kick. It's hard to take it. Curls it in. It's a fantastic ball. It's allowed to bounce. A couple shouts of handball. Harb. The Olympic fans want that halftime whistle. Tell you what they'd love even more. That was beautiful. There by Grozos. He was looking for Adam Basic. This is reminding me a little bit of UNSW's game against King George FC at Barton Park. And where they started well, conceded, went down to 10, and that game ultimately went away from them. Still have the players capable of saving something out of this game. And here they come with a chance now, right before halftime. Dinked into the back post, looking for Harb, who's growing into this game. Was looking for a corner there, doesn't get it, and that is the end of a very entertaining opening 45 minutes. Both teams looked good in spells, but it was a Yuto Fujita opener. UNSW responded well until Taji Kumsho's was sent off for a trailing arm, swinging and hitting Ben Gierson. UNSW are going to have to navigate the second half with 10 men. Rock bottom Sydney Olympic with a huge opportunity to end their 8-game losing run here. They have 45 minutes to hold on or potentially add to this lead. Big 45 minutes coming up. We'll see you on the other side of this halftime break. round 2. That was the last time Sydney Olympic picked up a win in this competition. It's been 2.5 long months. They've never had a more golden opportunity than this one. 1 goal up, 1 man up, 45 minutes to go. The former 2-time NSL champions who sit rock bottom to end their barren run. It's a very even first half. Both teams, without producing too many goal-scoring chances, had their moments. Just when it looked like UNSW were wrestling control. They make an error playing out from the back, which invites Marko Arambasic to shoot. Draws a good low save, which then just ricochets off Prendergast, loops up into the air. Vegeta was there first. And he scored the opening goal, and UNSW responded well. They didn't drop their heads. They were knocking on the door. And then the biggest moment of the first half, Tachi Kumsus catching Ben Gierson, the trailing arm. The referee and Limesden, after a long chat, deemed it malicious, showed him red. And as you can see there, it's been a theme in this game. It kicked off after the Kumsus foul, and at risk of kicking off again. Play gets back underway. You can just see here, a slight tweak up front. Jaden Hub now playing as a 9. He looks like he swapped positions there. Little mix-up with Ziggy Gordon and Orlovich there. And chance for Uni to get straight back into this game from the corner. Gordon and Orlovich not on the same wavelength, and we saw Uni give Olympic a gift that led to the opener. Are they going to return the gift? Players went down not happy. As I mentioned a few times, it's been a fiery game. Woods does well to bring it down, and then Woods to Wood. Carpenter duo right there. Yeah, Wellington Phoenix. Defender there hits it over the bar. So, Ollie Pufflet, UNSW's top goal scorer, starting this game from the bench. Very dangerous. Sean Woods hasn't gotten into the game yet. Started the game up front, but now moved out to the right-hand side of that front three, and electrifying Jyden Harb, scorer of the match winner. He's playing up front. Uni left it late last week. They conceded late too. They conceded in the 81st minute. And then 5 minutes later, Kevin Lopez, who's not in the squad today, got the equalizer and a stoppage time winner from Jyden Harb. Put some daylight between UNSW and that relegation zone, which is currently occupied by Olympic and Blacktown. Players flying in and out. That was like a scene in the Looney Tunes. A big cloud of smoke and like a tornado. Players just getting spat in and out of that one. Here is the difference maker so far for Vegeta. Trying to skip free and find some space. He thought he was fouled. Referee waving it on. I think that if it remains this way, Uni's top goal scorer, Ollie Pufflet, be a candidate to come on. Jack Fulton, very capable goal scorer as well, with some X factor. Harb. Intercepted by Gierson, who was involved in the biggest moment of the game so far. Won't get too much into describing it, but trailing arm, catching him. Let you guys scrub back on YouTube. That's the beauty of YouTube. Just scroll back. I'll let you be the judge of that one. It seemed pretty clear. You know what, it's been a bit of an erratic start to this second half by Olympic. They'll definitely be feeling the pressure. They came into this game 9 without a win, 8 straight losses. Rock bottom on just 4 points, and they've really experienced it all in that run. They've had narrow defeats. They've, in previous 2 home games, been on the receiving end of late winners. This, though, would take the cake if they were to come up empty-handed from here. And you even feel like if they didn't get all 3 points, because they are in a prime position. Here's Fujita. Hong dinks it forward, looking for exciting youngster Malia, and then Hong's wrestled to the floor, gets back up, and he did well here. There's a bit of space on the left-hand side. There's lovely work by Woods. They hold it up for Lynch. Going to pick out a teammate. It goes over the head of everyone in yellow and back, and a chance now for Olympic. Saba returning in season 2026. His team, even just from their Australian Championship campaign a few months ago, unrecognisable. Host of changes, so some teething issues were to be expected, as there's a foul there on Saba and a, beg your pardon, on Malia. And a good first half. You can see why he's made the jump up from 20s to first grade in season 2026. This Olympic team has had to wait a very long time for their second win of the season. And after that round 2 win, probably thought, okay, beautiful. That teething was over after 1 week. They lost their opening game. They then put 5 past SD Raiders. Things were looking good for the new look Olympic. The losses have just stacked up. And they're in a precarious position, but they're in a golden chance here. They'll be on the back foot. Woods curls it. And Olovich was scrambling, but he gets down low. And Woods is full of energy and definitely has stepped it up a gear in this second half. Despite being a man down, still Uni just sticking with the same shape 4 at the back. It looks like 2 blocks of floor and 2 blocks of 4. A bit of a tongue twister. And Woods now playing up front. And they'll go in his direction because they've won it again. And a sloppy start to the second half by Olympic. Woods was kept quiet, particularly by Politis, but had a good start to the second half. Here's Lynch. Harb. There's space here for Harb on his left foot, not his preferred right, which we've seen produce a couple of curlers so far. Good response by UNSW. Olympic. 2.5 months is a very long time. I think that's how long they've waited for their second loss of the season. The Olympic relegation would be unimaginable. Throw Blacktown in the mix and you just call me downright crazy. That's the prospect. Here come Olympic, though. Done a lot of defending in this second half, and I tell you what, haven't strung too many passes together despite having the numerical advantage. It's been a good response by Uni, who until that red card, responded well to going a goal down as well. See if Olympic can just settle into this game. Think forward, looking for Fujita. He is far and away been the best player on the field so far, and he is the difference. No action on that Uni bench yet. I'd be surprised if we see changes in about 5 minutes' time. Plenty of X factor on that bench when Gabe Knowles decides to go there. Uni will be comfortable, and by contrast, Olympic will want to banish the ghost of previous late defeats. They're going to get a chance now, though, from a set piece, because Fernandez was fouled. Tell you what, there'd be a few players from both teams that'd be sore after this one. It's been a physical opening 50 minutes or so here at Belmore, home of the Bulldogs. Tell you what, we've seen some rugby league-esque challenges. Couldn't help myself with that one. Here come Olympic. Grozos. He's had his moments as well, both teams. It's been a game light on clear-cut chances, but definitely high in drama and entertaining football. Prendergast does well to pluck that one out of the air. Two players making the run forward. If he can pick it out, it's a cannon. And well cut off there. Bringing Orlovic into play. Lots of changes for Sydney Olympic. Almost an entirely new 11 from the team you saw 4 months ago. UNSW, by contrast, have sold a vision to players like their injured captain, Claudio Fabiano, Kevin Lopez. Players that dropped down, bought into the vision at a time when the club didn't even have a playing field. It was an AFL pitch. It's been completely revamped, and that vision has seen them climb above the Football New South Wales football pyramid. The field has been renovated as well. It's one of the best grounds in the NPL, and I tell you what, it's turned into a bit of a Bermuda Triangle. Still, though, looking for that second win away from home. And if they could do that and start piecing together points home and away, then they will comfortably finish above the relegation zone. Came into this one in 11th position. Campbell. Fascinating start to this second half. Olympic, despite being a man up, happy to just sit back and maybe sting Uni on the counter. Lynch. Nice football, nice one-touch football. Quilligan manages to tow it forward for Woods. Closed down by Ziggy Gordon. Good block. Campbell looks out wide. Hernandez. Here's Hong. Big talking point in this game will be Tachi Kumsu's red card. Came shortly after the opening goal as well. To say Uni, though, have responded well to both those moments. And Olympic, it's been their Achilles heel. Even, doesn't matter who the manager was. In the Labhaliti Australian Championship run, that was their Achilles heel, that unable to see out results. For that game against Moreton City, which really killed their finals hopes, that South Melbourne game. They'd get leads, they could score goals, but this, though, would be a new level of heartbreak. It's a couple of players warming up now. Looks like Ollie Pufflet and Jack Fulton. Fujita unable to get on the end of that one. Plenty of movement on the Olympic bench. Here's Lynch. Go long. Good tackle there by Saba on Roberts. Lynch. Roberts. Intercepted, and a chance now for Olympic to break. Adam Basic wants it, and he gets it. Hong had continued his run, and Quilligan fouls him. No card. Definitely was a smart foul because Hong had continued his run. Sure, Hong, one of the last remaining members from that Australian Championship team. Just the one game taking place on this Anzac Day, NPL Saturday. Marconi and Manly at the Palace to follow. 5 games taking place tomorrow, all live and free on the Football New South Wales YouTube channel. Here come Olympic, looking to double their lead. It goes over everyone. We've ticked over the hour mark. 27, 28 minutes of the 90 remaining. UNSW left it late last week. Are we about to see a repeat of those heroics? They're going to have to do it even harder, though. Roberts, Lynch. Basic pressing. Got his goal today, but it was his shot which led to the goal. I don't know. Does that go down as an assist? Drew a save from Prendergast, and then the follow-up looping in front of Fujita, and he just get ahead of Campbell and poke it through for the opening goal, which is the difference here at Belmore. Duffy turning. Almost looked like he was in trouble there, but he did really well. And here come Roberts. A little bit of space there. Does well to pick up. The touch just got away from him, and Woods, Malfara. Opening 16, 17 minutes of this first half has been very similar to what you're seeing right now. Olympic, despite being a man up, sitting back, staying disciplined and holding on to this 1-0 lead. Can the 10 men of Uni break the blue wall? That was a tongue twister. Here come Olympic, though. Chance to counter. Fujita skips forward. It's 3-on-3. Here's Yuto Fujita to double the lead on the pass. And then that was brilliantly done. Yuto Fujita, the pass. Looked like he may have been in two minds there between pass and shoot. He had Grozos out wide. It's absolutely brilliant work by Malfara. Just lost the shoe in the process. Really enjoy the
substitution.
Uni midfielder getting back there, keeping his team in it.
And he replaced number 35, Peter Grozos.
Peter Grozos comes off, and he'll be frustrated because he would have wanted Yuto Fujita to play him just then. He didn't get the pass, and then he gets taken off as well, but it's a very exciting change. If you're a Sydney Olympic fan or just a football fan in general, Yorios Luka, exciting Sydney Olympic youngster. There haven't been too many bright spots this season for the home team. He's definitely been one of them. Here's another. Fujita stands it up. Campbell's gone out there to try and cut off the electrifying Japanese winger, who gets a little bit of space and then cuts back inside and finds the cross as well. And it's Luka. It was in his vicinity, but it was over here. So Luka will occupy that right-hand side of the front three in place of Grozos, and that is a front line that can definitely punish Uni on the counter. Despite Uni being down a man, they've had a majority of the ball in this second half. And the Olympic almost punishing them and doubling their lead. And you have a feeling that if they were to go 2-0 up with a man up, that could be the end to this winless run. Awkward one there for Orlovic. Bounced on by Quilligan. He's got Hub and Woods in the middle. Gets it onto his right foot and finds Woods. But it was overhit and out for a goal kick. Uni now going to make a change. And it's going to be Jack Fulton coming on. His game is perfect for a player like Uni's number 11.
Substitution.
Jack Fulton.
University of New South Wales. Coming on. Number 19, Oliver Puffley. And he replaced number 10, Nathan Roberts.
Double change for Uni. Attacking change as expected, both of them. Nathan Roberts and Sean Woods coming off. Jack Fulton and UNSW's top goal scorer returned to Belmore for Ollie Pufflett, who was a part of that premiership team in 22. He's been reborn at UNSW this year, Ollie Pufflett. Spent some time playing behind two of the most prolific goal scorers we've seen in this competition. First, Roy O'Donovan, and then Alec Urushevsky at Rockdale. But he's relished the trust that Gabe Knowles has showed him, and looked for maybe a half second there like it could have been a nervy moment for Tristan Prendergast, but it was lashed over the bar. To say the closest that UNSW have come to scoring was that Alex Malfara curler in the first half. It would have been an absolute screamer. That shot just then just made me remember that one because we've seen so much drama. They go long looking for Adam Basic. No goal for Olympics number 9, but his manager would be happy with we've seen so far. He's pressed, he's worked hard, and it was his shot ultimately that led to Fujita's opening goal. Fulton's just come on, he slipped. A bit of moisture on Belmore, one of the few grass pitches that we have here. Uni, of course, wouldn't be too used to playing on grass. Their home is artificial. Here come Olympic, though. Down the left-hand side, Luka was well placed at the edge of the box. Might still fall here. Looking for some room. Here is Luka. Closed down by Lynch. The ricochet falls for Fujita. Draws a good save. The flag stayed down. Prendergast was alert. Fujita was alert too. But Uni's goalkeeper off his line. mentioned the injuries that Uni have had to deal with. Like almost every member of this team has at one stage dealt with injuries. Tristan Prendergast, of course, missed the opening game with injury. Here's Harb. Against Saba, cutting in on his right foot. Floats it into the back post. And beats everyone. "20 minutes to go." Long looking for Luka. Saba. Well, Adam Basic did well. Harb does really well to get around Luka and then win the foul. Bit of Jayden Harb magic, which you haven't seen too much today. Olympic have done a really good job containing Uni's entire front line so far. Still plenty of time for that to change. As we saw last week, here is Harb. Step overs, he's got Lynch making the overlapping run. No surprises though, he cuts in on that right foot, which is usually magic. But well won there by Olympic. Malia did well to get away from a sliding Malfara, who slides once again. The Olympic fans just in unison. Big round of applause there, just urging their team on for this final stretch. Uni going to get ready to make a double change. So that slide tackle was the last action of this game for Alex Malfara. Connor Quilligan coming off as well.
Double substitution for the University of New South Wales. Coming on.
Colby Fowler and Anthony Barbic coming on. Good to see Anthony Barbic returning for an ankle injury. Ex-Western Sydney Wonder, a versatile player as well. Key interception there by Campbell. Otherwise, Adam Basic would have played in Malia. Here come UNSW though. Going to counter swiftly. Harb. Pass was just slightly over here. There's a couple step overs, and Saba does really well to close him down. NSW with a corner. Barbic capable of playing at right back like he did brilliantly against Marconi. Have a feeling though he'll be slotting into his more natural centre and midfield. Wrestling going on in the 18-yard box. Harb sends it in there with a looping corner. Header away. Fulton is capable of the spectacular, not that time. And Jack Fulton. Scored a great goal week 1 in his number 11. Also got the party started, scoring the opener. A beautiful dummy by Ollie Pufflet in that first win against Sydney FC. Pass misplaced. We've seen a little bit of that from Olympic in this second half. That was more assured. Ziggy Gordon just sends that one into orbit. Harb. Fulton's made the overlapping run. Picks it out. It was a decent ball as well with the outside of his right foot. almost finding a teammate there. Olympic, despite being a man up, they look like the team that's holding on at the moment. Just happy to send that one away. Anywhere will do. 15 minutes to go of the 90. This half hasn't had as many chaos-induced stoppages of the first, where we saw a goal, red card, bit of push and shove. Barbic plays a pass over hit. Given away. Come Uni once again, but a key block there by Hong. Fulton. Burst of energy since coming on. Here's Harb. Going to get back onto his right foot, and he does, and find some room for the shot. I'll tell you what, he does well to generate some air and power on that one, but unable to bring it back down. We approach the final 10 minutes. Sydney Olympic fans will be having nightmares of some heartbreak here just flash into their minds. Manly got their winner late and the 82-minute mark in a 1-0 win. Sutherland Sharks scoring very, very late in a 2-1 win for them. Both of those games happened here at Belmore, so Sydney Olympic fans have been on the receiving end of some late heartbreak here. Will we see more late drama? An Olympic fan will be screaming out no. Fulton getting tangled up there, and he's not happy with the treatment he got from Saba, and very animated with the linesman, as is the entire UNSW bench. Play continues. Go long in the direction of Pufflet, who does really well to win the ball and keep it in. Can he find the teammate? It's the low cross. He was looking for Fowler, and Duffy's there to send it out for a throw. Olympic going to make a change now. Bailey Callahan getting ready to come on. Confusion going on here. Looked like he was going to come on. We are eventually going to see that change now.
Substitution for Sydney Olympic. Coming on, number 9, Marco Arambasic.
It's Marco Arambasic coming off. Bailey Callahan coming on. So I have a feeling we might see a reshuffle up front. For Sydney Olympic, their big number 9 comes off. Good shift from him. No goal. And he was involved in the most telling moment of this game. It was his shot. Drew a save from Prendergast and led to the opening goal to Yuto Fujita, which is the only goal. Harb takes the throw. The Olympics so far, maybe if I'll put the commentator's curse on them though, indisciplined, despite absorbing a lot of pressure. It was almost an instant reaction there. Great save by Orlovich, and the closest UNSW have come to equalising. Wow, that was right on cue. Just as I said, the Olympic have been disciplined in defence. UNSW almost equalised, but here come Olympic now. Frightening how instant the commentator's curse was. Almost there. Prendergast. Still plenty of time. 10 minutes of the 90 to go. Bit of space for Fulton. Shouts of time there. Just a little bit of nerve starting to creep in. It was a dynamite ball from Jayden Harb from a tough angle. And the ball on the half volley as well. Drew a great save. A sharp one as well by Olovic. Olympic holding on. This plays past there, pounced on by Malia. Bit of a tangle up there, and then the ball just got away from them. And here's Yorios Luka. Great sliding tackle from Lockie Campbell. Keeps his team in it. That was almost the game right there. That tackle had to be perfect, and it was. Lynch. Out wide to Fowler. Well, closed down by Saba. And takes a... Did it take a Sydney Olympic bounce? My eyes aren't the best. It did. Now for a throw. Now the flag goes up, so let off there for Olympic. NSW making their fifth and final change. Yeah, reshuffle to their back line. Wood comes off. Emilio Vinci makes his return from injury. NSW look to rescue something out of this game. They've been knocking on the door despite being a man down for the entirety of this second half. This man came the closest to getting the equaliser. After Jayden Harb's cross was met on the half volley during a sharp save by Olovic. He might be the equaliser. Great sliding tackle though by Ziggy Gordon. And Olympic hold on. Another big chance there. Brought the UNSW bench and casualty ward, which is seated right next to me, to their feet. They thought that was the equaliser. Uni really dialing it up now. We're in heartbreak territory for Olympic. Yellow card shown there to Saba for some time wasting. Luka as well to pick out another youngster, Malia. Here's Fujita, well intercepted. A chance for Uni to break. They look up, going in the direction of Fulton. As good as that interception was, attempted long ball, not as good there by Duffy. Well, if UNSW come out of this one empty-handed, you look at two moments. Fujita does well to prevent that one from going out for a goal kick. UNSW trying to... Oh, no, it did. There we go, okay. Ball went over the line there. Uni get it back underway. Misplaced pass. I was about to say Olympic might waste a bit of time here, but Saba is on a yellow card for time wasting. So he gets us back underway quickly. Sydney Olympic do hold on here. Look at two moments. That Fulton save, that's a late one there by Politis on Fulton, and yellow card for Olympics number 2. Fulton gets up gingerly. Two big moments. One fell to him. Drew a great save, I should say, by Josip Orlovic. And then not too long after that, Andy Pufflet looked like in for another goal. A great sliding block by Ziggy Gordon. Referee just talking to the UNSW bench. Sorry, it was his linesman. Already seen Gabe Knowles pick up a yellow card. Full contributions to the fine kiddies for both teams in this game. Vinci. Luca does well to shut him down. Shoulder to shoulder there with Vinci. Gets back up, and Luca then slides. And the referee calls it back for a free kick. It's almost the identical time of the game where NSW got the equaliser last week against the Western Sydney Wanderers. Are we about to see something similar? It was a corner that led to an equaliser last week. Will it be a free kick that draws Uni level? Harb floats it in. It's a great ball! And UNSW are back in it! The 10 men of UNSW have battled hard, and you have to say, despite playing the entire second half with 10 men, they deserve their equaliser, and they get it. Lockie Campbell has been in the fight all night. Mirror image, time-wise, to their equaliser last week. A corner. Kevin Lopez header got them back in it last week. Jayden Harb free kick from a similar angle. And a Lockie Campbell header. And you can feel it. You can feel it. The Olympic fans. They've seen some heartbreakers. Lachlan Campbell. It's in the Olympic, despite in the entire half, upper man. Done a lot of defending. Haven't really tested UNSW like you'd expect. They might do it here though. Good ball. Headed away. Harb looking for a way out. Have to give a shout out to Jayden Harb. They're getting stuck in defensively now as well. That ball was absolutely perfect, and if it wasn't Campbell's head, they were queuing up behind him. Someone was going to head it in. Can Olympic respond? Haven't made this numerical advantage count. A couple half moments on the counter. Can they find the player here with a cross? Not that time, but they'll get a chance from their own set piece. Malia rushes to take. And a minute and some change to go in the 90. Corner taken short. There's room out here for Luca. Runs out of room there. NSW play saying it hit Luca's hand. And all Prendergast could do was stand and watch as that one sailed past his post and out for a goal kick. Everyone waits. Now, actually don't think the linesman has a board. But I did see a hand gesture, maybe 4 minutes. He gestured to the Olympic bench. Yeah, there's no board. There you go. I've seen a lot of crazy things today. Add that to the list. Lovely hold-up play there. Hong looks up. G2 had made his run, then he had to just delay it slightly. Here he is. He's capable of the spectacular. Not that time. Gabe Knowles and UNSW will be very happy with this result. And And they want more. Jack Fulton screaming there. He wants the ball. He, of course, with 10 men, will take this point. It'll feel like 3. There's enough time for them to absolutely break Sydney Olympic hearts. And when it's going wrong for you, it's just going wrong for you. That is football. The Olympic, 8 straight defeats. Haven't picked up a win since round 2. Pufflet battling well. Gordon, it looks like that great block is going to be in vain. Denying Pufflet a goal against his former team. Malia, lovely ball and space here for Fujita. He's teased it up here for Yorios Luka! The Sydney Olympic youngster may have just won it and ended this horrible losing run for this great football club, which has been starved of success in 2026. But that may be coming to an end. Yorios Luka showed the composure of a veteran there, and showing why he is so highly rated with his 4th goal of the season. None more important than that.
The Sydney Olympic, scored by number 11,
Yorios Luka. With a name like that, he just sounds like a Sydney Olympic great. And this great football club has seen many wear the blue and white. Many famous footballers, your Peter Catholicis, Ante Juric's, Ante Militic, Brett Emerton, Matt Yerman. Are they about to get back on track after it looked like, to put it boldly, they'd thrown away 3 points? Shout out to Yuto Fujita as well. Composed, picked the right man. Yorios Luka. The confusion here. I tell you what, if they concede here, this would be the heartbreaker of all heartbreakers for Olympic. Vinci trying to add a bit of GST. He's going to get marched back to what looks like the 40-metre line that the Bulldogs would play on. Now or never for Uni. They thought they had fought back for a precious, and you have to say, well-deserved point. Olympic might ice it here. Fujita. Cut off by Lynch. The ball's where you want it, though. If you're a Sydney Olympic fan, and right on cue, they spray it. Well, we have 4 minutes of added time, I believe. I'm not 100% sure because the fourth official doesn't have a board. So I was just making out from a hand gesture I saw him give the bench. It looked like 4. I didn't see the thumb raised. We're into the 4th minute. Luka's goal will probably give us another 60 seconds. They go long looking for Pufflet. That head is pivotal because it allows Olovic to do that. And milk precious seconds off the clock. Olympic have been on the receiving end of late heartbreak. Heavy defeats. Is that horror 2 months coming to an end? Luka, it's a rookie and a vet match up there. Going shoulder to shoulder with Lynch. Bit of a size mismatch too, I think. Prendergast, this has to be perfect. Tell you what, it's not bad. Picks out Pufflet, but Gordon climbs above him. Ball's there for Fowler. Here's Vinci. A couple whistles coming from the Olympic fans. They want to hear the full-time whistle. They haven't heard. Sydney Olympic winners in this competition since round 2. They go long. Olovic had to be assured, and he was, and that, maybe that. Olympic fans want to hear the whistle. For the first time since round 2, Sydney Olympic finally end their horror run in the New South Wales NPL. They came into this one off the back of 8 straight defeats, rock bottom in New South Wales. They win a fiery, slightly controversial, but action-packed game here at Belmore. They went 1-0 up, and then they went a man up in the first half. You would think that's the 3 points gifted to them, but UNSW, to their credit, fought back, and to put it honestly, dominated that second half, deserved an equalizer, got it through Lockie Campbell, looked like they had gotten a point, until Yorios Luka scored a late goal. And is that the goal to kickstart Sydney Olympic season? They've been on the receiving end of some heartbreakers, some heavy defeats. But today, on Anzac Day, they end their horror run and get just their second win of the season. Full time here at Belmore, Sydney Olympic 2, UNSW 1.